Q, let's do one more.
What specific productivity frameworks do you recommend for founders who feel overwhelmed by day-to-day operations?
That's a good one. I think that Cal Newport, who wrote the book Deep Work, he has a really great one that I think is a pretty simple one to use, and it's just organizing yourself into activities that are like active or inactive. And so he's only working on one or two activities in a day, and he pulls them once he's complete. So he's completed one big focus activity for the day. When that task is fully done, he moves it to complete, and then he can pull something from the inactive list. So that's one way of just keeping it simple. You can also, if you look at his stuff, he also goes into how to communicate that to a team and put it in a place where people can actually view and see like, oh, he's working on this. I'll contact him when he starts working on my thing. Another one, what is the matrix of the, I'm drawing a blank on it. You have the urgent, the Eisenhower matrix.
Okay.
I think that's a great one to check out and use. It helps you prioritize what's the most important task or urgent task to do, but also the higher leverage tasks to do during your day.
You bring up a good point, because I think first of all is understanding there's a difference between what's important and what's urgent. Lots of stuff feels urgent and you're gonna have to deal with it, but what's important. Now remember, I think that everyone's got a certain amount of stuff that they just have to get done during the day. It's put on your calendar. Like I get up, Jen's my executive operations, so I don't even control my calendar. I get up and I see how cruel or how benevolent Jen is being on my calendar. If she really doesn't like me for the week, she's just going to stack my calendar and say, "Ha, take it," right? That's pretty much how it works. But on other times, most of the time, Jen, I love you, she protects my calendar and puts in all these breaks and knows, because I give her feedback, and she knows schedule the breaks after this because this might be an intense thing or it needs more preparation time. But then the other thing that you have to do is, despite that laundry list, understand the difference between urgent and important. And then just like what you talked about, who is the first gentleman? Deep Work, right? Was the first one.
Cal Newport.
Cal Newport. So I take a similar thing where I say, I have the list of my top 5. So I have the one important thing I need to get done today. That's it. If I go to bed and I haven't done anything else other than what Jen's told me to do, but anything else, I want to get this one thing done. And then when I get that one thing done, I'm going to do 2 of the other things that are less important, but not as important. And then maybe I'll get to the 3 things where I feel urgent. So I have lists of 1, 2, 3. But if I go to bed and I've got that one thing done, I sleep really well, despite the fact that I got 100 things, on my list. And that's super important. And I think that as long as you come up with a system to manage your time, and I think that's the main takeaway, what Jacob is talking about, is create a system, find something and actually try it in your life. What do you think about systems, Jacob? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, systems are where to go. I'm currently trying to use the Cal Newport one. And the biggest benefit is just having a system. It's not necessarily that some are going to be a little bit better than the other, but you get 80% of the benefit of just improving your productivity by just having a system in place. So find one that sounds interesting to you and just stick with it for a while, and you'll see the improvement. It comes pretty quickly. But systems as a whole, you have to systemize or else you will struggle. I have ADHD. I struggle with being distracted, but as long as I'm within frameworks that I've put into place, I tend to be fairly productive on a day-to-day basis.
Where they say in Atomic Habits, it's you don't rise to the levels of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, right? So you're setting all these lofty goals and systems. I can't stress this enough. All you founders out there, if you do something more than once and it's got more than 3 steps and it involves more than 3 people, you should be creating a standard operating procedure, an SOP to it, and letting everybody know. Now, if you've got other things like, there are unspoken things that me and Jen, once again, system, like, and I kind of talk about Jen a lot and I'm throwing her under the bus on some things, but having someone like a Jen, having someone in your executive operations really helps with that burnout, right? And helps with productivity. So there are things that are sort of me and Jen have worked out where I'll just say, yeah, next time do it this way, and she'll make that adjustment. We don't need to create a standard operating procedure, right? But as soon as we add a third, so now we've added Q, and Q has completely messed up our operations. Like, we are talking chaos factor, monkey throwing a wrench and then throwing themselves in the operations, and it's been nuts. And then what we've done is we've had to move to writing things down and creating that, because now we got an exponential growth in factors that can come into play. And so creating that system is so important. And listen, you cannot start this too early, right from day one. If you find yourself doing something more than once with more than 3 people or 3 or more people, and it's got more than 3 steps, write it down. That's the big thing. So that's what I'm thinking about right now.